such a good player. Somebody that we do know is technically wonderful, and perhaps some may be a little surprised that he's been doing well in the World Cup, despite all the noise that's been going on leading up to it, Gab, is Kylian Mbappe. 23 years old, continues to shine. I mean, is this what you expected, I guess, from him at the World Cup? Maybe a silly question, but, taking in mind of everything that's been going on, what have you made so far of Kylian Mbappe?
I'd love to meet those people who are surprised that he's doing well in the World Cup. I mean, I don't know who they are. Maybe it's the little cows on Craig's top shelf. I mean, I'm not surprised at all, especially once Benzema went out, he was ready to step up. I mean, I think one thing we're seeing more broadly is that because the World Cup comes in the middle of the season, we're getting players who are fit and who are hitting the ground running. And, given the level that Mbappe was at with Paris Saint-Germain, there was no break before the last game. I'm not surprised at all that he's been this dominant. He's got the good supporting cast, people working for him, and he's ready to be a leader.
Correct, CB, agree?
Sorry, I lost you there for a little bit. I was monkeying around with my earpiece.
Were you?
And I lost you.
You gave it to your Highland cow.
I was having a conversation with the Highland cow. I was going, do you know what? Did you think Kylian Mbappe was going to have a bad tournament? The Highland cow responded, as only a Highland cow could. I mean, yeah, it's hardly a big surprise, is it? I mean, I suppose Tyler Adams having the tournament that he did was a huge surprise. I mean, maybe, Phil Foden not playing in the first games, Hansi Flick not knowing his best teams, Sula playing at right back. All these things, there's so many surprises out there. And Luis Enrique not knowing that he was out the bloody competition for 12 minutes, according to him. That's a big surprise. People getting to Doha with an Italian scarf and then working out Italy are not in it. That's a big surprise. However, Kylian Mbappe playing well in a football match when it's 11v11 is not a bloody big surprise.
Okay,
is it?
so
I mean, come on.
Basically, this fan that asked the question, check yourself or you wreck yourself. All right, just remember that. All right, well, listen. Hey, Kay Murray's here. Finally.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late.
She went to Best Buy and got a new computer straight away. Kay Murray, how are you? I'm
good. Can I ask a question? I asked Craig this the other day on a show that we did, on a preview show. And we were asking if Kylian Mbappe was the best player in the tournament right now. And even before this game, obviously, Craig, you'd said yes. With what we're seeing, is he the best player in the world right now?
Yes. But only because the other two are closer to picking up their pensions these days, I suppose. So, maybe when Kylian Mbappe is, what's Messi, 35, and Ronaldo is going to be 38 in February. Maybe when he's that age, We'll start doing a comparison, but yeah, I mean, he is, and in some sense, and by the way, thanks for joining us. I've used that one before myself. In fact, I was going to use that today. My computer's not working, and I thought, you know what, I'll have to talk to this cow up here, the Highland cow. So I'll have to come on.
I didn't have the lucky cow to help me out today.
Yeah. It would have been a whole lot of Highland cow excrement if you excused yourself not to.
But do you know what? I think there was an element today in the France game, and it didn't really matter, I suppose, in the end, but it may do. And I'm not sure how Gab's seen this or if he's seen it before, but I thought during the game there was a small element from France about where's Kylian and how we have to get him the ball. Almost not every time, but it was kind of forced at times to try and get Mbappe on the ball, and maybe he wasn't the best option. It was kind of easier for them today, but whether that's something that sort of, transfers into the future games, I don't know, because he is the focal point, isn't he? And in some sense, over the years, it's been, how can we get the ball to Messi, and how can we get Ronaldo involved? And France are going to have to figure that out if France go all the way and play at Brazil or whoever it is, or even England, if they're so jamming lucky to get there for the next round. Who knows?
What do you think, Gab?
I think you're right. There is an element of that, and I think it is something that Deschamps would want to work on, because the other players who are there, in addition to being very good, are there for a reason, right? Dembele is supposed to be his big creator. down that right-hand flank, both the one-on-ones and the crossing for Giroud, or for Rabiot trailing from midfield, or indeed for Antoine Griezmann. You don't want to be in that position where he's the focal point. I went to see Argentina last night, and they're all talking about how they want to avoid that Messi dependencia and how they'd wean themselves off it, and then when things go badly, they're kind of back on it again. France don't need to be dependent on Kylian Mbappe, not against Poland, not against Tunisia, Australia, the teams like this. Maybe later in the tournament against Brazil when nothing's working, maybe that's when you go and try to ride him a little bit. You ask him to carry the team, but I don't think, not in these games.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.